back with Matt's Top 3, and today we are working on the parts car.
So with Gene having made his entrance, I had to move the green Mustang outside, and this definitely hurt me. Not something I want to do, but something I had to do. Because now we had a full empty shop, which means I could play a bit of musical cars and get Gene inside. Now, the first thing I wanted to do was just get Gene into the air so I had a bit of clearance, and then move onto the hood and get that out of the way because I zip-tied it down. By no means was this hood on at all when I was ready to move Gene, so I figured that was the best next option. So I threw in a load-bearing plank and decided to take out whatever was left from the hood bolts and then just get rid of the hood entirely. Now, the idea is to pull all of the frames from Gene, which means we need this motor out. So I did a once-over with the shop vac and then took a quick look at the transmission that we're going to be taking. Before anything, though, I was just a teensy curious about how this engine was treated before it got parked, and I don't think it was too bad, but then again, I'm not really too sure. The one thing that did solidify it, though, is when I tried to turn it over and very quickly found out that this thing was locked up. Anyway, this was about to be a massive undertaking because I've never actually pulled a motor before, so I did what I thought would be best to clear up the area and try to make it lighter, and find all the places that definitely had to be unbolted. Because I actually had some clearance, I decided that the transmission bolts into the engine were probably the quickest way to start. I had to clean out a couple bits and pieces, and then also very quickly realized I did not have the amount of clearance I thought I did. Needless to say, this ended up being a lot more of an uphill battle than I thought, but I did manage to get it done. So with that, I went home, came back the next day, and started working on the motor mounts. These things were not easy to get to by any means, but somehow I managed to get these out as well. I don't necessarily fit in a lot of these tight spaces, but I got it to work. Now, one of the last things I didn't even think to do was check and see if this thing had oil, which somehow it did. I don't really know how to assess this, but it did not seem great by any means. But with this out of the way, all that's left to do was just set up the engine hoist and get ready to pull this motor. This was by no means the same process when I pulled the original motor, so I decided to get some help. Which was great because I was told very quickly that there was still more stuff holding this motor in. This header was gripping onto the transmission, but after I got it out, this thing came out like a charm. I still have to pull basically everything from Gene, so next is the transmission.
Follow this page as I attempt to complete one of my top 3.